Manchester United are out of the Champions League. We have just lost 1-0 to Bayern Munich at home. I don't even know where to start with this game, to be honest. I'll just say this. It was one of the most lackluster, boring, uninspiring games of football I've ever seen in my life. We had one shot on target. We didn't look like we even wanted to be in the Champions League. We didn't look like we even wanted to give it a try. It was absolutely pathetic. It was yes, we only lost 1-0, but Bayern Munich didn't even really care either. They've already qualified. They already were top of the group, regardless of what happened. You know, they sent out their best team because they lost 5-1 on the weekend. They sent out their best team because of pride. They sent out their best team and they pretty much just passed the ball around and did nothing. They just chilled, didn't they? I don't even feel like we tried. I really, really don't. I think it's embarrassing. Obviously, we lost Harry Maguire in the first half. We lost Luke Shaw in the second half. We got hit with injuries, but even before then, it wasn't like we were really in the game, were we? There's no point trying to overshadow it. I just think when I look at this team of players, you know, you look through the spine of this team, I don't think any of these people are good enough to be Manchester United players. I really, really don't. I genuinely don't believe any of them are good enough. Let's be clear here. The fact that I'm getting upset that Maguire's got injured, Maguire should have gone in the summer. Varane started today. That was great. I thought Varane was decent. But generally, this team is so uninspiring. You saw Bayern Munich, right? You look at the team that Bayern Munich have got. That is a proper football team. Through and through. They're run properly. They've got a world-class coach and they've got world-class players in every single position. There isn't a single player in that Manchester United team that would get in Bayern Munich's team. Not one. Just let that sink in for a minute. Not one of our players would get in their team. I just don't understand how we can go into that game so lackluster, so uninspiring, and we expect to get something out of it. We don't deserve to be in Europe. I said that on the show this morning before I even watched this game of football. We do not deserve to be in Europe. We had a group of Copenhagen, who, let's be honest, I think the whole of their team gets paid about the same amount of one of our players, right? The Copenhagen team are probably championship level. We couldn't even beat them. Galatasaray, let's be clear, they're an all right team, but they've got loads of has-beens. You know, people like Mertens, people like Ziyech. You know, they've got all people that were at good clubs before, and we couldn't beat them either. It's embarrassing. It really, really is. We had the opportunities to get through this group. We were 2-0 up against Galatasaray. We lost. We were 2-0 up against Copenhagen. We lost. It's embarrassing. It is. It really, really is. I don't think we'll be in Europe next season. I don't even think we'll make the Europa League at this rate. And I think that will probably be our last Champions League game for a while. Should Erik ten Hag stay in the job? I think the problem, as I've said many, many times before, is bigger than Erik ten Hag. I think you've got to point the fingers at the players. You've got to point the fingers at the poor recruitment. You've got to point the fingers at the Glazers. You've got to point the finger at the non-existent director of football. Every single thing at Manchester United is rotten to the core. It is. Every single bit of it makes me feel sick. I watched that game then and it was just so boring, so uninspiring. And I don't think any of these players genuinely believe they're good enough to be in the Champions League. I don't. I saw nothing from any of them. Fair play to Copenhagen. Fair play to Copenhagen. You know, hats off to them. They've gone through. They deserve it. They deserve to go through. Will Erik ten Hag get sacked? He won't get sacked off the back of this, I don't think. We're still only, I think, is it 6 points off top four? Or maybe we're 3 points. Let me have a quick look. He won't get sacked off the back of that. And even if he does get sacked, it's not going to make any difference. Yeah, we're 6 points off top four. So, you know, it can easily still change. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section about this. People saying in the chat, lots of people are saying Ten Hag out, which obviously is to be expected. I mean, I'll say this, right? It's absolutely embarrassing that we've been knocked out of all European competitions. I read online that apparently this is the first time, I think, in about 20 years that we've got knocked out at this stage of any competition. So we won't even be in Europa. Yes, we don't want to play Europa, but for Manchester United, you need to have European football. You do. I'll say this, right? I think Erik ten Hag needs time. I think he is a good manager. I think he is someone who can take us forward. Whether he's the right manager for the next 10, 20 years, I'm not entirely sure. Whether he's our Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola, I'm not entirely sure. But I will say this. Whilst we're fielding that team, that team just doesn't inspire me. I mean, McTominay is rubbish. Maguire has been our best player for the last 10 games, and that says something. Dalot is not good enough. Luke Shaw, I think, was good enough at one point, but I think he's just injury prone now. He got injured again today. Amrabat, I think he's all right. I think he's average. McTominay, as I said, is not good enough. Garnacho, I think, is a good player, but he's still only 18. He's still not the finished product. When you've got Garnacho, and then you look at Bayern Munich, and they've got Kingsley Coman and Leroy Sané, that just sums it up for me. Like, both of those players are probably in the good to world class bracket, whereas Garnacho's in the like prospect bracket, isn't he? Like, he could turn into a good player, but we don't know yet. And then you look on their bench, they've got people like Muller, they've got that Tell guy who looks really, really good. Bruno Fernandes, I think he had a rubbish game as well, to be honest. I think on his day he's a good player, but today he didn't really offer anything. Anthony, I think, had an all right game. Højlund, I don't think offered much at all, to be honest. He got absolutely bullied by Upamecano and Kim Min-jae, completely bullied. We had one shot on target all game. And when you think that we needed to win this game, winning was the only way to get through, to only have one shot on target, that is embarrassing, in my opinion. To be only needing to simply, the aim of the game was to win. Okay, we had to win to go through, and to be only able to achieve one shot on target against a team who've already qualified, have already finished top of the group, and are ultimately playing for nothing but pride, and you can only get one shot on target, like, that is embarrassing. That was the bit when I was watching this, just thinking, like, I'm not even going to be angry. What's the point? What's the point in being frustrated and angry? Like, we don't deserve to be in the next round. It's not like we played really well, they got a dodgy penalty and we should have gone through, and, you get really angry. Like, what's the point in being angry? We all know where we are now. This is what Manchester United is these days. People always come out with we're Manchester United, blah, blah, blah. This is Manchester United now. Forget the glory days. Forget the Sir Alex Ferguson days. That's gone now, That's gone. Manchester United now is this. It's a team that at best will get top 4 and realistically will probably finish somewhere between 4th and 10th. Even if you get into Champions League, you'll get knocked out in the last 16 and end up in the Europa. That's the black and white for us now. Like, we're not going to win the Champions League. We're miles away from that. We're miles away from that. We're not even good enough to finish in the top 4. Connor says, I don't think it's bad that we got knocked out of the Champions League. We can focus on the tactics and building relationships. I hear you, mate. I get you. I do. But I just think that put it this way, right? If they come out tomorrow, the club, and say that they're sticking behind Erik ten Hag 100%, then I would probably agree with you. I would probably agree that being out of Europe might be a good thing. He can work on his tactics and we can hopefully see some improvement in our play. But I just don't think that will be the case. I think with Manchester United, the things they want are top 4. They want you to be in a top 4 position. They want you to be in Europe, as in that current season. At the moment, we're 6 points off the top 4, not looking like we'll get in there. We've just been knocked out of Europe. We're out of the League Cup already. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels before they get sacked. There's levels before they get sacked, and I think he's ticked 2 of the boxes already. The fact that we're 6 points off top 4, you lose 3-0 to Bournemouth. You've never lost to Bournemouth before at home. That's embarrassing. You're out of the League Cup. You're out of the Champions League. You're out of the Europa League. You're a laughing stock. Like, if we were to get battered by Liverpool on the weekend, which I think we probably will, we will, 100%. Obviously, Maguire just got injured today and Luke Shaw got injured. So, like, we're probably going to see Johnny Evans and Varane as our centre-back partnership, and we're going to probably see Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Bruno's suspended. Rashford seems to be injured. Martial's injured. Mount's injured. Casemiro's injured. Martinez is injured. Like, we've probably got about 10 people injured now, maybe more. The list just goes on and on and on for Manchester United. Now, I'm not just going to keep blaming injuries because I think every team gets injuries, but our injuries are particularly bad at the moment. Is that because Erik ten Hag's overworking them? Maybe. Some people have been saying that the players are complaining that they think they're training too hard. That obviously is a possibility. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. I'll be honest, I don't really feel that devastated today. I just feel disappointed. I just feel disappointed that, this is the reality now. I don't think there's really any point in being particularly angry. Like, what's the point? This is Manchester United now. What's the point in raising your blood level? It's not like we're this team where we should be expecting better. This is Manchester United, and we just have to accept it. That's my take on it anyway. I just think, yeah, I've been disappointed and let down so many times over the last couple of years that I've just grown to expect it now. And I think that's the worst thing about it all. That's the worst thing that makes you, sad, is that, when you get to that point where you ultimately, you just take it, You just take it. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Please do make sure to get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Erik ten Hag should be sacked? Please do make sure to like and subscribe on your way out. This has been Daily Red Devil. Try and have a nice evening, everyone. Try and switch off from the football. And I'll speak to you all later.